It happened in the span of a heartbeat. The successful CEO who had laughed at an old pickup truck in front of hundreds of employees found herself gripping the cracked dashboard of that same weathered vehicle only hours later, tears mixing with rainwater as she realized the one man she had humiliated was now the only reason she would make it home alive. The truck she had called worthless became her shelter, her rescue, and the place where every false belief she had carried about success, wealth, and human value began to collapse. That if you believe kindness is stronger than pride, forgiveness is greater than revenge, and everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a thoughtful comment, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you can continue this journey with our community. Every employee at Hallberg Industrial knew that CEO Vivian Mercer expected perfection. At just 38 years old, she had transformed her father's struggling manufacturing company into one of the fastest-growing engineering firms in the country. Investors admired her confidence, magazines praised her discipline, and competitors feared her relentless standards. Yet beneath the polished image lived someone who had slowly begun measuring people by appearances rather than character. Expensive suits earned respect. Luxury cars suggested competence. Modern offices represented intelligence. Anything worn, old, or imperfect quietly disappeared from her attention. Each morning the executive parking lot sparkled with luxury vehicles that reflected the morning sunlight like mirrors. One truck always looked strangely out of place. Its faded blue paint had lost its shine years ago. Tiny patches of rust surrounded the wheel wells. The rear bumper carried dents from decades of hard work, and the driver's seat had been repaired more times than anyone could count. The truck belonged to Rowan Beckett, a maintenance supervisor who had worked at the company for nearly 15 years. Rowan was a widowed father raising his 12-year-old daughter, Clara. Every paycheck seemed to disappear before the month ended. School expenses, mortgage payments, medical appointments for Clara's asthma, groceries, and endless repairs left almost nothing behind. Buying another vehicle was simply impossible. Instead, Rowan carefully maintained the truck his late wife had loved. Every scratch reminded him of family camping trips, moving into their first home, and afternoons when Clara had laughed from the passenger seat while singing with the radio. To everyone else it was an old truck. To Rowan it was the last piece of a life that grief had taken too soon. Despite his modest life, Rowan carried quiet dignity. He treated everyone with respect regardless of position. He solved problems without seeking recognition. Machines that others declared beyond repair somehow returned to life after passing through his hands. Younger employees often sought his advice because he never embarrassed anyone for asking questions. He believed character revealed itself most clearly when nobody important was watching. The annual company appreciation event filled the headquarters courtyard with decorated tables, banners, local musicians, and catered food. Employees gathered with families, proud to celebrate another successful year. Vivian arrived surrounded by executives and investors, determined to impress them with the company's culture. While greeting guests, her eyes landed on Rowan climbing out of his old pickup beside Clara. Several executives noticed the truck and exchanged uncomfortable smiles. Vivian allowed herself a careless laugh before making a remark loud enough for nearby employees to hear. She wondered aloud whether the company should offer vehicle inspections before allowing something that old into executive parking. She joked that the truck looked like it belonged in a museum rather than beside modern corporate buildings. A few people laughed politely, though many looked down in embarrassment. Rowan heard every word. He simply rested one hand on Clara's shoulder and continued walking without responding. Clara forced a smile, but inside her father's silence hurt even more than the insult. She had watched him spend countless weekends repairing that truck because replacing it meant sacrificing her education. Seeing others laugh at his sacrifices made her heart ache. Many employees noticed something that Vivian completely missed. Rowan never lowered his head. He never showed anger. He simply chose dignity over retaliation. As the afternoon continued, weather forecasts warned of rapidly changing conditions. Dark clouds unexpectedly gathered across the horizon much earlier than predicted. Company organizers suggested ending festivities early. Guests hurried toward parking areas while wind strengthened with surprising speed. Vivian prepared to leave for an important investor meeting several towns away. Confident in her expensive luxury SUV, she ignored suggestions to delay the trip. Her driver had taken unexpected leave, so she decided to drive herself. The latest technology, powerful engine, and premium safety systems gave her complete confidence. Meanwhile, Rowan loaded folding chairs into the bed of his old pickup while Clara helped collect decorations before they blew away. Several employees thanked them for staying behind. Within an hour the weather changed dramatically. Heavy rain reduced visibility to only a few yards. Powerful winds knocked branches across rural roads. Emergency alerts warned drivers to seek safe locations until conditions improved. Vivian's navigation system redirected her several times around flooded intersections. Eventually she reached an isolated county road where fallen trees blocked the main highway. Attempting a detour, she unknowingly drove into an area where floodwater had begun covering the pavement. Her SUV's sophisticated electronics suddenly malfunctioned after water reached critical components. The engine stalled. Warning lights flashed across every display before everything went dark. She stepped outside into driving rain, only to discover there was no mobile signal. Every direction looked unfamiliar. Water continued rising around the tires. Back at headquarters, Rowan realized Clara had forgotten her backpack in the maintenance building. They returned to retrieve it before beginning their drive home. As they traveled along the same rural roads, Rowan spotted hazard lights barely visible through the rain. Pulling closer, he recognized Vivian standing beside her disabled SUV. For a brief moment he remembered the laughter from earlier that day, then he remembered something more important. Someone needed help. Without hesitation he parked his battered pickup nearby, helped secure a tow strap, and carefully pulled the luxury vehicle away from deep floodwater. When restarting proved impossible, Rowan invited Vivian into the truck until emergency crews could safely reach the area. Vivian climbed into the passenger seat she had mocked only hours before. The cracked dashboard, worn upholstery, and faded steering wheel suddenly felt warmer than the silent luxury SUV she had once considered proof of success. Clara quietly offered Vivian a dry blanket she always kept behind the seat for emergencies. Rowan handed her a thermos filled with hot coffee prepared that morning. No one mentioned the humiliation. No one demanded an apology. Kindness filled the silence where resentment easily could have lived. As rain pounded against the windshield, Vivian noticed family photographs clipped above the dashboard. One showed Rowan's late wife smiling beside the very truck she had laughed at. Another captured Clara proudly holding an elementary school science trophy while sitting on the hood. Every scratch surrounding those photographs suddenly carried invisible stories she had never imagined. Rowan explained that the truck had survived countless winters, family vacations, hospital visits, moving days, and difficult years after losing his wife. Selling it had never felt right because memory sometimes mattered more than appearances. Vivian listened quietly. For the first time in years, she realized how little she actually knew about the people working inside her own company. She knew profit margins, she knew production schedules, she knew investor expectations. Yet she knew almost nothing about the lives carrying those numbers every single day. As emergency workers finally cleared nearby roads, they advised everyone to wait until travel became safer. Rowan remained calm, using the waiting time to check on stranded motorists, helping one elderly couple change a damaged tire and directing another family toward higher ground. Clara assisted without being asked, distributing bottled water stored inside the truck. Vivian watched father and daughter serve complete strangers with effortless compassion. Neither expected recognition, neither asked for anything. Helping others simply reflected who they were. Late that afternoon the weather improved enough for travel. Rowan insisted on driving Vivian safely back toward the city because her SUV required towing. She accepted with quiet gratitude. During the drive she asked gentle questions about Clara's school, Rowan's years at the company, and the maintenance department. She learned he had repeatedly prevented expensive equipment failures through preventive repairs that saved millions over the years, though he never sought credit. She discovered Clara dreamed of becoming an engineer after watching her father solve mechanical problems with creativity instead of expensive tools. Vivian also learned Rowan often skipped lunch to stretch grocery money and quietly covered small emergency expenses for younger coworkers facing hardships. these were story spreadsheets never revealed. The following Monday everyone expected another ordinary executive meeting. Instead, Vivian requested every employee gather in the manufacturing hall. She walked slowly toward the microphone, carrying no prepared speech. Looking across hundreds of familiar faces, she admitted that success had slowly blinded her. She confessed that she had judged people by visible wealth instead of invisible character. She publicly apologized to Rowan, Clara, and every employee who had ever felt overlooked because of circumstances beyond their control. The room remained silent, many executives shifted uncomfortably. Vivian then announced several immediate changes. Executive parking privileges would disappear because every employee deserved equal respect. A new employee emergency assistance fund would support families facing unexpected hardship. Educational scholarships would be established for employees' children. Maintenance teams would receive long overdue recognition bonuses after years of quietly protecting company operations. Finally, she asked Rowan to help lead a new workplace culture initiative focused not on efficiency alone but on dignity, compassion, and service. Rowan accepted only after requesting that every department receive equal opportunity to contribute ideas rather than simply following management instructions. Vivian smiled. That humble request confirmed exactly why he deserved the role. Months passed, and the atmosphere throughout Hallberg Industrial transformed. Employees collaborated more openly. Managers spent time understanding personal challenges instead of merely reviewing performance charts. Staff turnover declined. Productivity unexpectedly increased because people felt respected rather than merely employed. Investors noticed something unusual as well. The company's financial success continued growing, but now it rested upon trust instead of fear. One sunny afternoon Vivian walked across the parking lot carrying a small framed photograph. She found Rowan working beneath the hood of the same old pickup. Instead of offering him a new truck as many expected, she handed him the photograph. It showed Clara laughing beside her parents years earlier with the pickup parked behind them. The image had been professionally restored after Vivian quietly arranged for specialists to repair its faded condition. She understood something now: replacing the truck would never replace the memories. Sometimes honoring someone's story mattered more than giving them something expensive. Rowan looked at the restored photograph for a long time before carefully placing it inside the truck where everyone could see it. That afternoon the pickup remained exactly where it had always parked, only now nobody laughed. New employees often asked why such an old truck occupied one of the closest parking spaces. Veteran workers simply smiled before explaining that some vehicles carry more than engines, some carry courage, some carry sacrifice, some carry love, and some quietly remind everyone that the true measure of a person can never be seen through polished paint or luxury badges. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Before you go, leave a meaningful comment and tell us this: have you ever been judged by your appearance, or has someone else's kindness changed your life forever? Your story may become the encouragement another person desperately needs today. As the sun settled gently across the company parking lot, the old blue pickup reflected golden light instead of ridicule. It had never truly been a symbol of poverty. It had always been a monument to perseverance, family, quiet integrity, and unwavering kindness. Vivian's greatest achievement was no longer the company she had built but the humility she had finally discovered. Rowan never sought revenge for the humiliation he endured because compassion had already made him richer than pride ever could. And everyone who witnessed their journey carried home a lesson far more valuable than wealth: the strongest people are often those who continue choosing kindness even after the world gives them every reason not to.